can't bring us in because I'm dancing so much. But welcome, I will try, to Bottled Up Friends, a wine podcast of sorts where we are getting down with the flamencs. I think the kids call it. I am Jenn Waring, and I'm here with
me, Sean Linehan.
Woo! We're here together, and we are talking tonight. It is chilly. It is chilly when we record. Valentine's Day just happened. We're all ready for Fat Tuesday tomorrow. Woo! And what better time to talk about Spanish Reds? And as they say in Spain, Sean, friends and wine should be old. And I know I feel 40 years older than I did last year at this time, so...
That's a very appropriate.
I feel like those old Spanish proverbs were correct. In fact, I feel 40 years older than the wine we're about to drink.
I wish I had known that Spanish proverb. My family is Spanish, and my grandpa never said stuff like that to me. It was always, "Hey, shut up, kid."
You know what's funny is the Spanish proverb right after that one was, "Hey, shut up, kid." And then it was kids and wine should be bottled up and corked. And I was like,
shoved in the cupboard under the stairs.
Got weird. And then I just closed the browser before I got some sort of computer virus. Anyway, welcome. How are you, Sean?
I'm hanging in there. You know, it's a little chilly, but Valentine's Day has come and gone. We did some serious drinking last night. Did a whole flight of many things.
Oh, my God.
How are you doing?
I did a whole flight of Whitman sampler like a good person. It used to be that you had to wait until, today the day we're recording, the 15th of February for your Whitman samplers and your Russell Stover Hearts to go on sale, but not anymore. I mean, they literally put it out with Easter candy and the next day it's on sale. And that was in January, I think. So
yeah, pretty sure the Russell Stovers that we got they're already gray and crusty.
Oh yeah, no, my Whitman sampler, first of all, it was $4.99, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's so cheap this year! How great!" Second of all, it's so cheap because it was 90% plastic insert and like 7 chocolates.
That's
suck on that, Whitman.
Packaging it's gone downhill in the mass-produced chocolate market.
Right,
it's not the same.
It's not a chocolate I normally eat, so I'm not going to be that mad about it for that long. But right this second, I'm annoyed.
Did your sampler pack have a cherry cordial in it?
Nope.
Mine neither, and I am distraught.
Oh, no. Those are gone. I have to say, not only did it not have cherry cordial, it didn't have the gross strawberry one that I usually spit out either. So wins and loses.
My packaging with the little slip that tells you what vaguely shaped chocolate represent. It tells me I have a strawberry cream, but I can't find it when I'm looking at the key at the Rosetta Stone of chocolates, and I'm looking at the plastic dividing box. I can't find the strawberry cream, and I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, no, I think it's I think that's fine. I just last year at this time I was still had my office job, and my one of my coworkers got roses for Valentine's Day, or got I take that back, got a box of roses, and of course everybody was like standing up, open office plan, like, "Oh, look what she got! Yay! What's in the box?" And she opened the box, and there was nothing in the box, which I thought was the greatest joke ever. But turns out the florist literally forgot to put flowers in. Isn't that amazing? Because then 3 days later, there was a box of chocolates in the box, but there was no flowers. So I was like, "Well, you can't eat those chocolates. It's bad luck," which is not a thing, but it made it okay for me to eat all of her Valentine's Day chocolate. Yeah. I took a picture because I was so like, "How cute, you got flowers." Like, she just got engaged. I was like, can you imagine if you had just had a conversation with your beloved in which the conversation was like, "It's over," and then you get this box and it's empty? Would you not throw yourself out of the office window? Like, I would have literally just turned around and jumped. I would have stepped over the mourning dove that used to live on the ledge and just called it a day.
I would have done that with like phone in hand. I'm jumping. Bye.
Yeah. All before checking in with 1-800-Flowers.com.
Fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys. But anyway.
Well, on the topic of red things.
I was going to say, on the topic of fuck those guys, let's get back to Spain, shall we?
Fuck those guys. So over in Spain,
Oh, fancy.
It's Spain, yeah. There's a Spain. Let's start in the beginning here. Spain's one of those top producing regions. Like,
yes,
it's one,
I was like, whoa,
France,
where
Italy,
were you
Spain.
going with that sentence?
Yeah, I don't know. I got sidetracked.
Yeah, Spain is number 3 in every chart that I looked at.
It is. For a brief minute in 2013, they were number 1 in the world for wine production. They are still number 1 in the world in terms of acres under vine. So there's more
Very
grapes
exciting.
and vines grown in Spain, but they produce less wine. And they kind of trade back and forth with Italy over who's
slackers.
Most. And one of those most important regions in Spain is the one everybody's heard of, is Rioja.
Yeah, come on.
Everybody knows, like, oh, Spanish wine, you're drinking Rioja.
Sure.
And so that's what we went and got ourselves today when we walked into our local store.
It's very cute. It's a very cute label. And I did Google the vineyard, and it's a natural vignette with iconic elements for El Coto de Rioja. The engraving includes the deer that receives visitors at the entrance to the winery or the monastery of Imez.
You can see it. There's a little monastery in the background of the etching there. I see
that.
And
and then apparently that deer works he's like the Walmart greeter of this particular vineyard.
Welcome to the vineyard. Have some wine. Don't steal batteries.
Aisle 7 is the lady supplies. But yeah, I can't imagine that deer is all the time at the entrance. But okay, sure. But it is from El Coto.
El Coto, Coto.
Yeah, that's probably good to spell.
Yeah,
and it's lovely. It's a lovely Rioja. It was what, $11.99? $12.99?
I believe it was 11 or $12.99. Here in New York, and so that's a markup for a lot of places.
From $7.99 according to most websites. But you can get
really good, really nice value red wine from Spain. It's an underrated market, and they produce just some really fantastic stuff. This one, it's a Crianza. It's a 2016 Crianza Rioja. Crianza means it's kind of the youngest Rioja that they can put on market.
It's a baby Rioja.
It's a baby Rioja. That means it's been aged for a minimum of 12 years. 12 years. 12 months. 12 months, not years, in oak.
I was that's a baby SVU episode. What are you doing?
And then further aged in the bottle. It has to be aged by law for 24 months. And 12 of those months have to be in oak at a minimum. So that's
like one of those weird laws, like somewhere in the South, it's like illegal to have ice cream cones on a Sunday. It's one of those laws. Do you know what I'm saying? Like those are just fun. I enjoy those. This one is following the laws, and it got a commendation in the International Wine Challenge. It got a gold medal in the Mundus Vini competition.
Ooh, the Mundus Vini.
And I think it's the perfect wine to celebrate Ash Wednesday. Happy Ash Wednesday, everyone. It is the day you'll be listening to this. Or should we call it Ash Wednesday?
Ash Wednesday.
That's what Jesus would have wanted.
We're all supposed to be fasting and in prayer and abstinence.
Right,
on Wednesday,
right.
But I think I will just abstain from not drinking.
You know what's funny that you say that as you struggle to open your cork?
It's open.
Good work. For those of us that were raised Catholic, Sean and I both were, and we spent some time looking for a wine that would celebrate Ash Wednesday, something full-bodied, like the blood of Christ. It's anyway, terrible. Going straight to hell.
On this cross.
I've been told that since I was like 8. Anyway, but the Lent, Ash Wednesday kicks off the Lenten season where you are supposed to give up something for the Lord for 40 days as he gave up everything and eat fish on Fridays, just like he did in the desert. My brother used to try and give up Brussels sprouts every year, which is a thing he hates. And I, about 8 years ago, even though could care less about actual Lent. Yeah. But there's something about giving up. So I started I started doing double negatives for Lent for no reason. No one cares. No one's ever asked. But like I would give up not going to the gym.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I'm not this year, but other years.
Yeah, no, because
this year I don't
COVID.
care. Even if it was open, I'd probably not go. I'd still not go. Anyway, one year we did gratitude. I made like right after my divorce, I made like a bunch of my friends. I made my disciples join an email chain of daily gratitudes to stop me from basically offing myself. So everybody did it because they were worried. So it was nice, but I still have them. It's fun. Anyway.
That's sweet. It's something you can hold on to.
Anyway, body and blood of Christ, Sean.
Body and blood. Here we go.
Amen.
That's nice. So this is Crianza Rioja, 12 months in American oak, new American oak, and American oak imparts a bigger, bolder, oakier flavor than French oak.
See, and they say Americans can't get jobs.
That's right.
I just noticed that my wine glass is cracked, but I will live. I mean, I'll just drink out of the other side. What am I, an animal? Okay. It smells really nice.
I got some of that blackberry and cherry kind of smell. And then you've got that spicy oakiness behind it.
Yeah. It's very if you just do like you don't really drink, you just sort of like breathe it in, like our friend Nadia from British Bake Off we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. She always has her kids when she sifts confectioner sugar. Her kids always come to breathe it in the kitchen, which is the cutest thing ever. But like
just mainlining sugar.
Right. But if you just breathe the air of this wine, it feels very dry. I mean, I didn't drink it yet. I'm just breathing it.
Mm-hmm. I'm drinking.
I'm like a vampire because they can't drink and stuff.
It is dry. It's a pretty dry wine. But it's not. It is tannic. It has a tight structure in your mouth. But it could it would definitely benefit from food. But it's not undrinkable. This is perfectly drinkable on its own.
Oh my god, it's still quite delicious. It's got it's got a little like. Hold on, I'm bad at this game.
I didn't say you're bad at it. You're pretty good. You pick out stuff every week.
Yeah, no, I said I was bad at it. I don't need anybody's help putting myself down, Sean. God damn it. It's the one thing I'm perfectly good at all by myself. It almost has like tomato something going on. Does that make sense? It's got like a weird, like earthy acid happening.
Yeah. There's definitely
and I'm just picking tomato.
To it, and I think that kind of tied in with so you've got that soil kind of taste to it, and that tied in with the bright acid and kind of red vegetal fruity taste gives you tomatoes. And
I mean this I found one description, not of this wine but of just in general, Tempranillo. I can't talk now that I'm all tied up and tongue tied, but I enjoyed that they use the phrase it's a bit rubbery in front of a smacking palate that's tight and racy.
Okay.
Listen to that.
That is an interesting description of Tempranillo. We should point out that
and berry aromas bit rubbery in front with a smacking palate that's tight and racy. That also sounds a little bit like an S&M club, right?
A little bit, and a little bit like somebody had a thesaurus when they were writing a description. It is tight in structure. It doesn't open up into a bright fullness right away in your mouth.
No.
And I think we'll talk about this maybe towards the end of the episode. This is going to do really well if it sits open in the air for a while.
Yeah.
And, like if we had decanted this would be a good candidate for decanting.
Ooh. Sean, let's talk about decanting for a moment because I feel like we haven't even brought it up.
It's true. We have not really talked about decanting.
Not because we decant. we decan. We decall. But I like when my decant jokes have music. So I just think like, not all wines need to be decanted.
Sure.
In fact, probably most.
A good amount of wines could benefit from some decanting. Anything that's a bolder, fuller body wine, even a medium body wine, will do better when it's decanted and exposed to air.
Generally reds, no?
Generally reds. Your full body whites are good to decant. Or if you pull something out of, say, a wine fridge or a cellar and you're trying to get it up to room temperature.
Faster.
If you decant it, obviously it'll warm up faster.
Yeah, good point.
And that's a good thing to do. Or if you have
if you gargle it and spit it back in, it'll warm up faster.
If you mommy bird it.
Yeah, this is a lesser known technique I just want to introduce to the world.
The gargle and spit.
Yep.
I will say, like, you generally for Beaujolais or Gamay or even Grenache or something like that, those lighter body, super fruity wines, you don't really want to decant them. But there's always exceptions. For my birthday a couple years ago over at the bar Terroir downtown, they brought out a Beaujolais that was just so funky and so weird. We decanted it like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Like,
do you know why? It's because where it was stored in the terroir started to affect. So you were getting flavors of like the village, I assume, or perhaps early New York when it was all gangs and Daniel
when it was
Day-Lewis,
all gangs and it was
right?
this was a bottle down underground in the 5 Points. No,
yes,
it's because it was funky winemaking.
Okay, or different.
It had a very reductive quality that needed a bit of air, and since we wanted to drink it right then, the somm was gracious enough to decant it 3 separate times.
Listen, some things just need a bit of air to do better. Right?
Air helps. It breaks up the tannins a little bit. It softens the alcohol. The oxygen starts to interact with all those fun proteins and acids and things that we've talked about in past episodes and shape the wine. So I think let's take a little break, come back and have a sip and see if we can pick out some more flavors and profiles in this.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. See you in a minute.
Okay, bye.
Okay, and we're back. Our wine has been sitting out for a little bit here.
I mean, we weren't gone for like an hour and a half, everybody. Like, I don't want to like give away the secrets, but it was like 3 minutes.
It was like 3 minutes of us jabbing on Zoom.
Yeah.
So
about onesies. So maybe next time we don't. Maybe we don't take a break. Maybe we just include the people in our behind the scenes conversations. No, we wanted you to be able to make sure that your wine was poured in a glass that say didn't have a crack in it from where you violently did the dishes earlier, apparently. Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes you got those stubborn stains. Mama gets white. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, normally I drink only pure ink out of my wine glasses, so it's hard to get off before you put wine in there.
It's funny you talked about the glass. I actually went ahead and changed my wine glass. I was drinking out of our
form of an ice block.
Ooh, ice luge shots. I was drinking out of our bottled up merch glass, patent pending. And I decided it was a little too narrow, a little too close, so I wanted to switch to a big Bordeaux style glass to really aerate this and see if we can get some more into it.
I just cracked a bigger chip in my glass, you guys, just to get a little more air in there. That's what I went with as an answer.
Bit right into it.
Right, yeah. So if I scream in the next couple minutes, you'll all know why. You don't even have to see that I'm just bleeding from the face. It'll be fun.
Sip.
What do you think? Different now? Sean's also been doing a lot of swirling, listeners. You can't see it, but there's been a lot of swirling.
It's definitely opened up a little bit. It's still got a really tight tannic structure, but the acids have mellowed a little bit, and I'm getting a lot more of that kind of black cherry flavor.
Yeah, it hasn't quite moved to the label mentions raspberries, and I'm not there yet.
Okay, I could see that in there. It's definitely still it needs a bit more air before we're going to get into that fruit.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting a lot of the kind of spiciness that you get from that oak. There's a lot of that kind of cinnamon and baking spice, black pepper in there.
Yep. No, definitely that with like a dark cherry or or a plum perhaps.
Oh, plum. Yeah, I could see with plum.
Like an
underripe plum.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the one you bite in that you go, oh man, I should have waited like one more day.
One more day.
One day more.
One plum more.
Yeah, I sing a lot of Les Mis to my plums. That's how I turn them into prunes.
I sing to my plums too.
Listen, that's how they shrivel.
Yeah, the shower was cold.
That's what happens. Okay, but let's talk about this Tempranillo stuff.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, we didn't mention in the first segment, but this El Coto Rioja is 100% Tempranillo. Rioja is almost always Tempranillo, but sometimes they mix in some other things to
this one is not.
Out. This is just Tempranillo, which is the most important grape for the Rioja region.
Yeah, it's one of the 9, right?
It's one of the 9. Yeah, this is one of those 9
companions. These grapes shall form the Lord of the Fellowship of the Rings.
Well, I think actually the four.
I'm bringing up the Lord of the Rings in every episode. I just want everyone to stay with me. Nine companions
follows us on the Instagram, which you all should, at bottled_up_podcast.
Well played.
You may have noticed Jen has another podcast called Taking You Back, and on VD on Valentine's Day, she posted a fantastic video that ties directly into the Lord of the Rings. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a reenactment of real things that happened in 2003. I mean, I just played myself. I played my younger self, and I may have involved some Lord of the Rings and wine. I married two of my favorite things: time travel, Lord of the Rings, and wine. That's two of my favorite things.
And math. Apparently you married math.
I was going to say, note that counting is none of my favorite things. Also, I am often late, unlike... That's not true. That was the best I could do for a segue, kids.
That's a good segue.
Thank you. Tempranillo comes from the Spanish temprano, which means early. This is a fun. I like to know. We had the black pine cone. We had the place of thistles. This one comes from the word early because these grapes ripen earlier than other grapes.
The other red grapes
than other native grapes.
Yeah, than the Bilbao and other Spanish red grapes. And that's perfect because you've got this incredibly dry, arid. The northwest of Spain is, it's warm, it's sunny, it's beautiful. You got the mountains blocking the cool air that would be coming from the North Atlantic down. And you get these grapes that ripen early and they'll sit in the sun and they build up those sugars, which is why when you make the wine, you get 14.5% alcohol. This is probably the heaviest hitter that we've had in our in our many episodes now.
I love it. It's all, listen, I love being able to picture, apparently the foliage, these particular leaves turn bright red in the fall, unlike most grape leaves. So that's got to be super pretty too.
Yeah.
So as you're sitting there and you're drinking your 14% wine, staring at the leaves. Sorry, 14.5. Listen, we just talked about math, Sean. Why do you have to point it out again? Like I'm an idiot here. And of course, while most Tempranillo is red, there is one apparently white mutation, Sean.
There is. I don't actually know much about it.
Here's what I know. Get ready.
Go for
people.
It.
It's one sentence. No, it's called, wait for it. You might be surprised by the name. Tempranillo Blanco.
Tempranillo Blanco. I bet.
And it is officially authorized by the Blancos for use in white Rioja. It has a similar growing cycle, faces the same growing challenges. It's just a grape of a different color. Like the horse in Wizard of Oz.
Like the horse in the Wizard of Oz.
Which they use Jell-O to turn color. So maybe they put a bunch of white Jell-O on these grapes and they're lying. We're painting the roses red. We're painting the roses red or white in this case.
Say they're not lying.
They're lying, Sean.
Spain has some pretty...
Es verdad.
No es verdad.
No es verdad. No, but listen, don't lie about my crianza.
Why would I ever lie about your crianza?
I don't even know what a crianza is, Sean. It's on the label. I just picked a word. I don't know what that means.
Then we should talk about why it's on the label.
All right, what does it mean? Because now I feel dumb.
We talked about it briefly in segment 1 there. So with Rioja, with Spain in general, they've got pretty strict rules on how you can label wine. And to be a crianza, it has to be aged a certain time in oak and so on and so on. Moving up into Rioja, they've even stricter laws.
Wow.
So there are 3 categories, and that's Crianza, Reserva, and Gran Reserva. And
that's the grandma.
That's the grandma. And Crianza has to be aged for a total of 24 months, a minimum 12 of which have to be on oak. And Reserva has to be 36 months, a minimum, I think it's a 24 have to be.
Spaniards, I hope you have your pencils out.
It's 36 months total aging, with 12 of those being on oak. And then for Gran Reserva, you're looking even further. For Gran Reserva, it's 60 months total. of aging before it can be released to the public.
Kids, that's 5 years. Screw you, and you're on bad at math.
And 2 years of that have to be in the barrel.
Wow.
Minimum. Like they could do the whole 60
the whole
months
time
if they wanted to, but they don't have to. So
I've watched a lot of Law and Order today, season 2. It's right when Ice-T gets in. It doesn't matter. But so this is like your maximum offender, but who does sometime probation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They might do all 5 years in the big house, but they might get probation.
So this would be a really interesting wine to do a horizontal.
How would Stabler age this? I'm just kidding.
Stabler would break the bottle on the table.
Yeah, he'd break it out and kill a perp.
And kill the perp. You're not going to let him walk again.
And then Ice-T would say something clever like, let's not cry over these spilled grapes.
And then his daughter would be like, but Dad. And
it would be a
dun,
mess.
dun.
So good.
Sam Waterston would take over and the episode becomes a lot less fun.
I was like, that's a different season. So I would assume also if you're doing this horizontal tasting, as you mentioned it, which is how I drink most of my wine, folks, horizontally.
I start vertically and I end
on my sofa, as Jesus intended. But I assume it also changes the price range.
Yes, obviously, aging. Oak is expensive, and keeping something for a long time is expensive. So as you go up in Reserva and Gran Reserva, it becomes much more expensive. So if you're looking for value Spanish wine, you're looking for Crianza in Rioja.
That's a good way. So that's why it's on the label, kids.
That's why it's on the label. So when you're walking through the wine store and you get to the section that says España.
España. That's my favorite.
You'll see Crianza and you'll see Reserva and you'll see that written on all the wines, not just Rioja wines, but like things from Ribera d'Oro or Rías Baixas or other areas in Spain. Rioja has the strictest aging requirements of the whole country.
Rioja is like Hollywood, but backwards, because things will get worth more as they get older, as opposed to Hollywood, where 18-year-olds are playing Grand Reservas.
Exactly. Hate it when they do that.
It's so strange when they look so young. I mean, also women just look younger in general, but like when somebody looks so young that you're IMDbing their age, because you're like, yep, nope, she's only 4 years older than the actress playing her granddaughter. How is that possible?
And yet, in the same show, you've got a 24-year-old man playing the 16-year-old captain of the football team.
Right, totally. Totally. None of it makes any sense.
0 sense is made. I may have watched all of the Ocean's movies, Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13, really recently, and so this is all very much in my head, because there's only one ages in there.
Yeah, and I feel like there's only like one chick allowed in each one of those movies anyway, so it doesn't
Julia
matter.
Roberts.
Yeah, that's it. And then I feel like isn't there somebody else in the later ones? No?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah, no, they only, listen, one lady per movie, and can't be older than 40, and she can't look older than 30, but she's better be prepared to pay a grandma.
These are the official rules. If you actually...
These are the rules. You think that the Rioja rules in Spain are tight.
Yeah.
I got you tight rules right here. Because these are real. These are real rules. Sean's doing some more swirling. I have to say, it's got very pretty legs.
It does. They're thick, but they're quick.
Yeah, that was my nickname in high school.
Good old Jenn, thick and quick wearing.
That's what the kids called me. That's not a real thing, mother. In case my mother decides to listen to this episode first. That's not true. It is actually opening, like, I'm going to use the phrase opening up, like that's a phrase I use all the time, as opposed to when I was just thick and quick in high school. But no, but it is opening up nicely. It is a different wine than we took a sip of 40 minutes ago.
Like, it doesn't make me pucker when I drink it now. Mm-mm. When that first sip straight out of the bottle, the tannins felt like they were crystallizing on my teeth.
Yeah, definitely. But my teeth were purpler for a hot minute.
Now, I am getting a little bit of that raspberry. A little bit of blackberry. It's nice.
It's a nice, the berries are happening.
Yeah. And then on the nose, there's this interesting kind of smell that's developed. It's like almost like cedar chips.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's really cool that enough of the alcohol is burned off now that we're not searing the inside of our nose.
I do prefer not to sear the innards of my person. That seems
just
bad.
The outards.
Just fine. That's fine. That's different.
Yeah, sear the outards. Outards?
Outards? Sure. If there's innards, there should be outards. That's just grammar.
It just comes to reason.
It's got a nice... I don't know what I'm getting when I smell it. Maybe it is cedar. There's a new scent. There's a new scent coming on, and I don't know what it is.
A new scent by Rioja. Available at Macy's and the Friends and Family discount. All right, I think we should take
at the holidays. You get a nice box set. It's got a tiny glass of wine. It's got the cologne. It's nice.
Estee Lauder, you need to call us. I think we're onto something here.
Estee Lauder, if you sold wine with a face cream, I would still buy that shit.
Or our friend Ethan Steinman with Artistic Finance, he wants us to make our own wine. What if we did perfume?
What if we did wine and perfume somehow using... I once had a cauliflower dish at a Greek restaurant in which the conceit of it was that they used every part of the cauliflower. Like they used the cauliflower to almost make like a risotto. And then they even like fried the leaves to make like a wilty crisp on top. It was outstanding. My idea, similar. What if we did that, but with grapes? We somehow use some of the grape to make wine. We use some to make a skin cream. Maybe we use the vines to make a pocketbook. I don't know, but we've done all the things. We'll take a break. We'll think about it. We'll think about it. Sean is stunned, and that's fine. I've stunned him with my idea.
Yeah, I'm because usually the leftovers from wine get made into livestock feed.
Okay, well we're gonna do something different because cows don't need this.
They don't. You know who needs this? We need this. And I think we should take a minute to step away and go get some of this.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in a few to wrap up our talk about Tempranillo.
Oh my gosh, welcome back, fans. We're here. I have chipped away at almost my whole glass, and I'm just basically drinking out of the stem at this point.
It's really impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm getting literally a drip at a time so that I don't cut my face up. No, I'm just kidding. But we're still very much enjoying, our break was 3 whole minutes. Yours was 3 seconds, but we're very much enjoying our El Coto Rioja. Listen,
it's very nice. Yeah,
Spain makes a nice wine.
There's a reason they're number 3 in the world, and there's a reason that they plant so many grapes because they're good at it.
And I have to say, this is the funnest wine we've done so far because every time I've taken a sip, listen,
it's a different wine.
When you're out and you're drinking, you're not paying attention. You're drinking. You're staring at the cute people. Remember when you could go out and stare at cute people or talk to the bartender?
People? I don't remember
or
cute people.
Joke with people. Like you could do the things. You did the things out with the people. And we can't do that anymore. But you weren't maybe paying attention. But now, say when you should be paying attention, like when you're hosting a wine podcast, every sip of this wine has been different. Like I'm now getting a slight, Sean. Okay. In case you're going to yell at me about this, we're moving towards almost a port smell for me.
Yeah,
nose.
You're getting a lot more of the oak.
Yeah,
so, and with port, you get a lot of that because it lives for so long.
Yeah,
in oak, and it really takes on those vanilla.
And it's same grape.
It can be the same grape.
Yeah,
not always, but yes.
But so like it's moving towards that like warming, full. Open. We're open now. It feels like a warm hug. Yeah, just in the nose before you even get it in your mouth. You're like, this glass is hugging me.
It is,
which might explain the cracks.
It does open up in your mouth quite a bit, and it's a lot fuller. It fills. You're getting all the flavors, all the taste.
It's nice.
Maybe if we hadn't opened this live, but if we had decanted, we wouldn't have had to experience.
And now for people new to decanting.
Sure.
I like that we experienced the journey. So
I did too. It was fun.
Perfectly pleased with our journey. But for people who want to, maybe do it differently and decant from the start, but perhaps have never decanted, can I just decant in a ball jar, Sean, or say my blender?
What you want, don't go for the blender. If you go on the YouTubes, you can find videos of like really snooty somms decanting in a blender.
If you go on the YouTube, you can find videos of whatever you're looking for, people.
That's also true. So stay away.
Don't do it.
You want, for a red wine like this, for a high tannin, big bodied red wine, you want something that is going to provide as much surface area contact with air. So my red wine decanter kind of looks like an upside down T.
Beautiful. Yeah. I feel like most people have seen them. It's like if you were putting in a vase something with a huge root structure.
Exactly.
You decided to vase it instead of go plant it outside like a normal human. It just has it would be wearing apple bottom jeans.
Exactly. You want the full
perhaps
flare.
Not boots with the fur.
You want the flare.
Yeah.
Because that'll allow the oxygen and the air to interact with the wine more readily. I mean, you can if you want. If you've got a big ball jar, if you've got a 750 milliliter ball jar, go for it. But it's not gonna be
because that's a straight no. This one listen. I like big bottom decanters, and I cannot lie. You other wine nerds can't deny.
But on the flip side, if you're decanting
when a wine walks in with an itty bitty waist, okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry, but yeah, you want your decanter.
And it's upside down
to look like it has a big butt. Get it?
But if you're decanting something because it's old or maybe it has a lot of sediment in it, you want a much narrower vessel
and a coffee filter.
And coffee filters do help. Traditionally, you can also just candle it when you see the sediments start to flow into the neck of the bottle. You stop pouring and you lose that half inch of wine, and that's fine.
No, it isn't. Get all the wine, people. Squeeze it out. Do it through a coffee filter, and then wring it out.
Wring it out, but over your mouth, just
so wring it into your friend's mouth. This is what happened to the beard. And in our last episode when we talked about how he had to drink white wine because she was sick of seeing red stains in his beard. Now we had figured it out.
Why.
It took us a whole extra 2 weeks to figure it out.
To figure that out. Man, those Romans, they sent us on an archaeological...
They're insane.
They certainly are and were.
In 2 weeks from now, we'll be like, remember the Phoenicians in 1900 when they moved grapes to the peninsula of Spain? That's why they used coffee filters. And everyone will be like, they're drunk.
We should point out that what Jen just said is true.
Yes. Some of the history, I like to get some of the facts and then make up the rest.
At this point, we're doing drunk history.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. No, it was the earliest evidence of grapevines in Spain was approximately 1900 BC.
Yeah.
That was also before Ash Wednesdays.
Yeah, BC. Yeah, before. It
was not just before Christ,
Ash
but
Wednesdays.
there was no Ash Wednesday until there was AD. No.
Until there was a D.
No, it was the during. It was the
right
GAL section, the Jesus Lives section that the Ash Wednesdays.
That's when the
would have been thunk
of after the donkey riding through with the palms on the Sunday.
Okay, so what's nice about Ash Wednesday is the day before when we eat all the pancakes for Fat Tuesday, because then we're supposed to give everything up for the Wednesday, and I would drink this whole bottle with a stack of pancakes.
I think you should drink
this a real pairing? No, but why not?
I think with a savory pancake.
Oh my God, I'll put bacon in my pancake.
Put bacon in your pancakes, or if you want to go a little more European and make your thin pancakes, crepes.
Oh, my crepes. My brother makes a delightful crepe. Isn't that funny?
You pair it with some jamon iberico, some Serrano ham. Like, this would be killer with jamon iberico. I mean, most things are killer with jamon iberico.
I was going to say, first of all, can't go wrong. But second of all, if somebody walked in here with a lovely charcuterie, I was trying to say it like the kids are saying it now, charcuterie. Yeah, which is stupid. Stop it. Kids, grandma says, this Grand Reserve says knock it off. So, but if somebody just handed me right now a plate of Serrano ham and maybe some nice hard cheese.
I would go for a manchego, an aged manchego.
A nice salty.
Yeah, salty sheep cheese. That would be,
or shall I say, this
fantastic.
This would be also in Minnesota, but this would be so good with either of those things or any sort of this would be nice with a nice pork chop.
Yeah, pork, probably roast pork, especially if it's
my God, yeah.
Especially with some sage or rosemary in there, like those really herbal flavors. It would go good with that. Any sort of fatty meat. Grilled carne asada kind of steak.
Ooh.
This would be delicious with that.
So what we're saying is bring this right into your neighborhood Chipotle.
Take this to the Chipotle's.
Just get a carne asada. Just get it in a tortilla, no tortilla. It doesn't matter. Get it in your salad. Get whatever you want. And then just drink this wine. It's illegal. Don't do it. But yeah, fatty meat would be good. A nice salty cheese, I feel like, would be nice. Even a hefty vegetable dish. Like for people who are all like, man, meat's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I would lean.
I feel like it would have to be hearty.
Yeah, like a portobello steak. Like
which I think is gross because mushroom. But let's say you were eating that. Yeah, like a nice portobello. Ugh. Or some sort of like maybe a nice risotto with like lots of mushrooms and herbs.
A paella.
Or a paella. Yeah. With all them
heavy on the saffron and stuff. So the point is, Rioja is highly pairable. It can go with a lot. It can go with a lot of stuff.
Everything from pancakes to paella, kids.
The 2 P's.
Yep,
pancakes
that's
and paella.
If we ever write a cookbook, if we ever pair a cookbook with this blog, it's going to be called From Pancakes to Paella. Wine is delicious. You know what is not delicious? Wine cookies, Sean. I made wine cookies this week. I shared them with you. They were gross, ladies and gentlemen. Don't make them.
My husband came into the bedroom eating one the other day.
That's not a euphemism. He was actually eating one of my wine cookies.
Standard domestic life here. I was still in bed reading the news, and he had been up for some time playing video games.
Normal stuff.
Walked in with the cookie in hand. I don't think he had taken a bite yet. He was kind of leaning against the door, and he took a bite, and he goes, "Ha!"
First of all, they looked like
gross.
Yep. I warned them when I gave them away that they were gross. I had seen on an Instagram. Not everything you see on Instagram is true. You should, of course, follow our Instagrams, both our personal and our bottled up one. But you probably already do. But or on a Facebook, or read the blog. But the point is,
any of those things.
Our stuff is true, but I found this wine cookie recipe from a lady just on Instagram, and I was like, I'm gonna try and make those. There was no directions. I made up the directions. Like there was no put it in the fridge for half an hour, which later I realized probably would have benefited from that with the dough.
A little bit.
But it really, if you've ever thought to yourself to just boil a glass of red wine and olive oil, just an olive oil, a red wine olive oil tincture, perhaps.
Huh.
And then shoved it in a cookie. They looked like Barney the dinosaur turds because they were purple.
You lovingly shaped them like biscotti.
I did. Well, because you're supposed to dunk them. You're supposed to dunk them in more wine.
I feel like the ones you showed me from the Instagram
they were round. Which didn't make sense to me.
They looked like piles of purple poo.
Yeah, how do you dunk a round thing? What kind of glass am I drinking out of with this?
No.
Stupid.
Not dunking in a ball jar here.
Listen, dumb. I didn't do it. So anyway, but this maybe I won't use this wine because I'm going to drink it all. But if there was, say, a little bit left, I might turn it into a cookie, but with a different recipe.
And I would go heavy on the sugar. Because this is not a sweet wine. This is very, very dry.
No, yeah. But it might, sometimes when you cook, make the sweetness is going to cook off anyway. So maybe, listen, I don't know. They're gross cookies, people. Don't make them. That's my point right now.
But we're going to try.
I'll keep trying. I'll share pictures. I'll put pictures I took pictures of the cookies because I take pictures of everything. So I took pictures of the cookies, which I will put on the Instagram later, so you people believe me when I say
get on the Instagram and check out our fun posts. We do a lot of silly stuff about the wines we're drinking.
I don't know if they would guess that from the podcast.
But if our faithful listeners out there have been cooking with wine, or
we want to know about it,
or if you make art with wine, I know some people who paint with wine.
Oh my gosh!
Let us know about it.
There was an episode of Criminal Minds where he painted with blood. Different, but same color. I assume the same color structure. Yeah, no, we just want to hear from you. It's really fun to hear from the people that are listening to us, and to maybe you have questions that I will make up answers for. One time, Sean, my brother, who's very serious and answers questions with a lot of thoughtfulness. I asked my brother when he got engaged, I said, how did you do it? And he started the discussion by talking about white gold versus regular gold. And I was like, put Kelly on the phone.
Okay.
I'm done. But he's great at math. He's the more serious one. And so my nephew, when he was about 3 or 4, we were visiting my grandparents' home, and there was a boat outside, just a trashed old boat that my grandfather had left there for 20 years. Anyway,
at that point, it's a lawn feature.
Sure, totally. And it was just missing some flamingo legs or a gnome hat or both. Anyway, but my nephew asked my brother, how do boats go? And approximately 40 minutes later.
Oh, wow.
Jet propulsion was discussed. It was the correct answer, is what I'm saying. He was excited to answer it. He knew the real answers. He knew about every acid in the wine bottle, Sean. I'm doing a big wink. But he knew all the stuff, and he answered it. And then my 4-year-old nephew looked at me and said, Auntie Jen, how do boats go? And I said, do you see those holes on the side? Gnomes live there. And when the boat goes in the water, they fart. And the fart bubbles move the boat. And my nephew giggled, as nephews are wont. And then he turned to our mother and he said, Nana, if you want the real answer, you ask Dad. But if you want the fun answer, you ask Auntie Jen. And my mother was like, he's got you two down. And I feel like that's a little bit where, ask us questions, folks. I'll tell you, it was gnomes farting in a bottle. And Sean will be like, no, it was lactic acid. Knock it off.
It was malolactic fermentation. Come on.
It's not fermentation. Isn't it transgender? What conversion. Was there was conversion. I knew there was a word you liked better than fermentation. See, I pay attention.
You've learned so much in these 10 weeks that we've been making.
Can you imagine if I gave a lecture right now? Malolactic acid is transgender. What? Where did she study? Make her stop talking. Maybe you should get some grape juice in your beard. You can get it out by switching to white wine. I would have all the answers.
I think we should do an episode where you teach me about wine.
Listen,
and I make fart jokes.
Don't think that I can Google like a mofo. So you can't ask anything. But the people could ask us questions via our varying social media sites, and we can both answer. And you can get the fun, correct answer that we give you in your ear holes.
Yeah. Ask us questions. We're always we walk into the wine store and we go, okay, what should we talk about this week? And Jen goes, I don't know, that label's pretty. And
yeah,
like, great.
That was like a real reenactment right there.
Let's shape this episode around Rioja. Yeah.
No, it's good because I also think that what's great about that, and what those of you listening might find great about that, if I do say so ourselves, is that that's how most of us walk into the wine store. Somebody knows a little bit and is like, yeah, we're having paella, let's get a Spanish wine. And somebody else says, okay, but this label, because it's the prettiest.
Yeah.
And then they go, how much do we want to spend? So I think that that's how lots of people do it. And I think if they could be armed with a few more facts when they go in, they'll know to get this beautiful Rioja that we've been drinking.
It's a lot of fun.
Decant it a little bit before they drink it, because unless they want to do the journey.
Unless you want to go on a journey with your wine, but you got to have some patience.
You do.
Because I got to say, usually at this point in the episode, Jen and I have had 3/4 of a bottle of wine.
And we have not this time.
I've had a glass.
Yeah, that's different. I mean, we're going to keep drinking, friends, so don't worry. But
don't worry. Yeah, fear not.
Fear not. We will finish this bottle separately and together. But it is definitely, now you can hopefully pick your Spanish wine with a little more confidence. And then can we have guests? We can't have guests. When you're drinking with friends from afar, like 6 feet away, you can tell them things about the wine.
You can tell them about how the gnome farted in this. And that's why the Phoenicians brought Monastrell to Spain.
It's Monostat. Wait, when did we talk about that?
Monastrell, that's another grape. It's another Spanish grape, and it's another episode. And with
Thank God, yes. We can't do that now, kids. You'll all be exhausted.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listening to this episode of Bottled Up. I'm Sean.
I'm Jen. Cheers.
Cheers. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode of Bottled Up. If you had fun or liked what you heard, please make sure to like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app. Those likes and subscribes are huge at pushing us up the podcast list and getting us more listeners and then more sponsors and better wine that we can tell you about. If you want to get in touch and tell us about your favorite Spanish wines, you can find us on Facebook at Bottled Up Podcast, Instagram at bottled_up_podcast, or on our website, bottleduppodcast.blog. Bottled Up is produced in Astoria, New York by me, Sean Linehan, and my amazing co-host is Jen Waring. Information on this episode's music can be found in the show notes. Until next time, stay safe, stay warm, and drink up.